class. This is a overview of how to complete an annotated bibliography for this class. It does not take the place of the guidelines that are available to you on Blackboard because I do change them, slightly from time to time per semester. So, this is just an overview to help you understand and to get you started. So check out, I suggest maybe having those guidelines open while you listen to this video. So the purpose of an annotated bibliography is to just basically show that you are, showing great care for your research. You're spending time on your research. You're considering. You're analyzing. It is not a essay. It is not a place for your opinions or persuasion. That's for the essay. Okay. Of course, your opinions will be in third person and not personal anecdotes for the essay. But back to the annotated bibliography. Basically, you're just showing me that you spent some time on research. So that's the first thing. You want to become very familiar with your research. You want to pick the right research. It's just not, you didn't just use NC Live and pick the first article that came up. You actually searched. So nothing from the annotated bibliography should be regurgitated into your essay, with the exception of maybe introducing the authors a certain way if when you do the credentials for the authors. But this is a separate entity from the essay, even though you have the same subject. You're not going to basically reuse sentences or anything, okay? So just make sure that you're keeping these sort of things separate. So here, you're going MLA formatting, of course. So, 12 font, that sort of thing, 1-inch margins. Make sure you're not adding spaces between paragraphs, which is the way that Microsoft Word puts it. So a lot of people do that. There's a checkbox under the paragraph section of your Microsoft Word. You should have that checked that says do not add spaces between paragraphs. And there shouldn't be, everything should be on 0 near spacing. So, again, other than the double, everything should be double spaced, no more, no less. Again, grammar, that sort of thing is important as well. So the citations itself, so that's what you're going to do, is you're going to have 4 citations. Now, again, check the guidelines on what kinds of citations, because it does depend on the essay. Sometimes you use your textbook, sometimes you're using databases. You're never just Googling information, though, so you're never just going to have a website that you Googled. So, check the website the guidelines of which sources you should use. But you should have 4 sources. You're going to list them in ABC order by the author's last name, most likely, unless there's an author. And, don't do more than that, even though your paper might have more than that, because, I'm just checking the 4 for now to make sure you're on the right track. And then for the essay, you can add more database articles or, so forth. So, and follow the guidelines very specifically. It tells you exactly what each sentence in your paragraph, what sentence should focus on, okay? So after the citation, that should be, take your time with it. Don't just use a citation generator, because a lot of those have errors, and every space, every capital letter, every italic is going to be graded, okay? So be nitpicky. Then under that citation, you're going to have a paragraph that's 5 to 10 sentences. Again, don't do 4 sentences, don't do 11 sentences. Follow the guidelines, okay? You'll have more leeway with your essay, but this is more of a sort of exact paragraph here. So on the first 1 to 2 sentences, you're going to do the author's credentials, where they went to school, or if you're, whatever you're writing about, why are we listening to this person, basically. So sometimes it's, schooling, but other times it's maybe a profession, or are they a parent, or, it depends on your topic. if they've been a vegan for 20 years, if that's, relevant to your topic, that sort of thing. So 1 to 2 sentences, nice and quick. Make sure it's clear. If there are multiple authors, you can just focus on the first one that's listed. If there is not an author, you can do the publication source. Okay, so for instance, the New York Times. Tell me why we should listen to the New York Times. Then after 1 to 2 sentences, not 3, right? You should summarize the source in 2 to 4 sentences. So hopefully we learned how to summarize in 111, but just a reminder: no opinions, no details, no quotes, and no questions. You should really just summarize what the author said. Just get the main points here. Don't delve into the details. Save that for the essay. 2 to 4 sentences, okay? And then evaluate the source. I think this is where most students have the most trouble, is evaluating the source, or they just, don't slack here. So here I want you to kind of be a detective. Tell me what's wrong with the article, or why it's really good, or why it's valid, or potential problems with the source. There's always something, if you're writing about pharmaceutical companies and the source is written by someone who works from Walgreens, there's a bias there. Or, always kind of think about, well, why this person wrote this article. Do they get something out of it? Did they leave some information out that purposely? Did they, kind of falsify anything? Or maybe the source is old. It's not up to date. Maybe they just focus on California residents and doesn't tell about any other part of the country. You gotta have to be specific to your topic for here, but you just want to evaluate the source, and I want this to be strong. Okay, don't just say this source is strong because it has good quotes or something like that. Like you can say that about anything. So I will be picky here, so please spend some time. 1 to 2 sentences, be specific. Then I want you, the last 1 to 2 sentences of the paragraph, I would like you to tell me how you're going to use it in your essay, basically. And you may use first person in that sentence, okay? Just say, I'm going to use it for my counter argument because it proves blah, 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 okay? So further on, you can use your textbook to generate citations, but the Rail Center, the Rail Center, and the ILC can help you with that as well. And then I have the rubric below. You'll see that the content, the grammar, and the citations are 90% of the grade. Okay. Overall, both of your annotated bibliographies are going to count for 15% of your overall grade. That's the two together. Okay. So this is not an assignment that I take late. So turn in what you have before the due date. Hopefully it's 100% of it, but if something happens, make sure it's not an essay. You don't get a couple of days leeway, right? And then at the back, I have an example for you. I just want you to pay attention to the spacing here. Notice that you have hanging indents, that there's no extra space when you start the paragraph. There's no indent when you start the paragraph, right? And then when you go to the second citation, same thing, okay? Notice the spacing, notice the indents, and follow that, okay? And of course, you'll have 4 sources. This example only shows one full citation and paragraph, and then just the citation to go to the next one. So it's just kind of to get you started again. So, and again, you have the MLA, that's 10 points. That should be, by this point in the semester, hopefully you're getting those full 10 points. And if you have any questions, please email me, with significant time, not the night before the annotation is due. But, yeah, so I hope you do well. And again, please check that Blackboard annotated bibliography guideline document for the complete guidelines. But let me know if you have any trouble, okay? All right.